Hello everyone, welcome to a brand new edition of the Triple Trio, a weekly look at Hong Kong racing with the best form. Analyst in the business in this guy, Clint Hutchison, and also the Hall of Famer in Raymond Shane Dye, and a special guest with Karis Teetan joining us as well. I'll start with you, Hutch. Welcome.
Thank you, Richo. Great weekend of racing ahead of us once again. It's been a tough week, though, so we need to bounce back, and hopefully we can.
Well, the Golden Boy we always trust. Hello, Golden.
Hello, boys. Actually, I had a bad night Wednesday night. I don't know anyone that won on Wednesday night. Everyone lost.
Well, I got my hand up. I can definitely join the club there. Karis Teetan, our very special guest, who's in Australia ready to ride in the Cox Plate. Karis, welcome to the show, mate. Great to see you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We love chatting to you. And this is up close and personal. This is great.
Yeah, I've always watched the show on social media. It's nice to be here. Feel comfortable.
Yeah, well, you're feeling comfortable now, Karis, but I can tell you he's walked in with the biggest puffer jacket you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, I was freezing
I'm not
cold.
sure about the weather, Karis. You don't like this Melbourne weather?
Well, I went for a walk around the track and the sun was out, so I was like, beautiful. And then halfway down the track, the rain came and I was soaked wet. I was freezing, couldn't feel my fingers, trying to listen to Glenn, all the advice he's giving me. But I'm warm now, so it's okay.
Hey, welcome to Melbourne. Yeah, I can assure you that. Exactly. And I did notice that you're willing to stay for most of the show, but you want to leave when the Idol votes are coming out, because Shane Dye, you don't want to be here to listen to that, is that right?
Well, I did not ride on Wednesday, so you can't be too hot for me.
I think I gave you a point for Patch of, what was it?
Patch of Time?
Yeah, I think I gave you a point. It was a good ride. So you can stay.
Took the shortest way home.
Hey, he's been.
You're one of the honest jockeys, mate. You tell the truth when we're talking to you, and you can accept it.
Well, of course, we've got a very new Shane Dye now. No negative votes. He's in love. So things are going beautifully. All right, let's look back. Ooh, what a week it was last week.
Race 5, Karma. I think he's going to be very hard to beat, but I'm not disagreeing with Patch of Theatre. He can win.
Karma's come from a mile back. He's run to Patch of Theta and then came a lane feeling it's all Karma. Karma too good.
He tips himself. He'll be short, but I think he'll be hard to beat. And I think Ka Ying Rising, you can put him in a multi, do whatever you want to do.
Ka Ying Rising shot past California Spangle. Beauty Waves lucky with you. Helios Express running on, but he just keeps rising and rising. His name, Ka Ying Rising. He won the Premier Bowl.
Clint's horse that he said, Cleo Wolf, whatever it is.
Yeah, Cleo Wolf, yep.
It's been impressive, its last couple of runs.
And Cleo Wolf hitting top gear. My Oberon moved up to Pride of Jenny. Pride of Jenny, my Oberon, and here's Cleo Wolf, the Epsom winner, with a booming run down the outside. Cleo Wolf takes the lead and won the King Charles III.
Well, Hutch, as I've been saying week in, week out, it's Shane's world. We just live in it.
Yeah, exactly. He's been on fire. I don't know if he's ever been in better form. I'm sure he'll say he has been. It's been his whole life. But Shane, you're kicking a few goals.
That hat, it keeps working for me. You've got to get one.
Keeps plucking it. I was on Patch of Theta and I was kicking it home, and then I heard Karma and I thought, I didn't take a saver on Shane's best bet.
Yeah, it looked the danger, but Patch of Theta was good actually. The wide barrier made it hard for him, but then probably they told Hugh to go forward. I would have just didn't get the luck he needed.
All the usual great segments throughout the show. Karis Teetan's going to stay with us for a majority of that. He doesn't even know that, so he's just gone, hang on, didn't realise I was going to be in that long. It's going to be a jam-packed show. But let's start by trying to find a winner on Sunday at Happy Valley. Racing on a Sunday day meeting at Happy Valley, which is the one and only for the year.
Yeah, I do like the day meetings at the Valley. They can be tough. You need a little bit to go your way, but I think it's nice to have probably more racing at the city course. I'm not sure if the jockeys agree because most of them live at Sha Tin, but we like it.
Yeah, race number 8. We're going to analyse 3 races. Who do you like in race 8?
Yeah, it's a very interesting race with this newcomer, which of course we'll touch on in a moment. But Romantic Sun, 1 for 1 in Australia, trained by the Hayes boys, now with, of course, David, and trialled really well, I thought. And David took the time out to trial it at Happy Valley. Righteous Arian was big the other day, and Celestial Colours will strip a little bit fitter for a couple of runs in. Now, this is Shane Celestial Colours' run. Look, I think he ran well enough. He's a horse that's in good form. We know he likes the Valley. I'm not sure what his pet trip is, but he goes from 1,000 to 1,200. he was in the right spot this day, and he's racing pretty well.
He's racing well. He has won over the 1,200 metres, Clint, and from gate 5, he's going to get a good run on pace because a lot of these horses drawn inside of him are going to get back a bit. Horses like Rising, From Ashes, Find My Love, so he's going to cross pretty easy. I've actually got Righteous Aaron on top. I thought he's racing very well from Celestial Colours, and of course the horse you said, Romantic Sun. Now, Romantic Sun in Australia, he had one run and won very easy, and he led. And he hasn't shown as much pace in the trials in Hong Kong, but from gate 1, I can see him jumping and running, unless, of course, there was something that drew wide. Mega Bonus comes across, but he's got a good chance.
Well, you mentioned Righteous Arian, Shane. This is him back and wide, and this is the concern I've got with him. I think he's ready to win one. Look, it was the best final 200 at this particular meeting at the Valley, so he really launched late off a good speed. Of course, Karis won this race on Chateau Neuf, but where do you have Righteous Arian in the run this time around? Where do you think he'll settle?
I've got him midfield from gate 6, and he's only got 116 pounds. Now, here's the horse you're tipping, Romantic Sun. He's done nothing wrong in his 3 trials. He's been to China, he's been to Happy Valley, he's been to Sha Tin, so he's been everywhere. And he's trialled well on each occasion. So, like I said, in Australia, he jumped and he led and he kicked. And he kicked good when they went for him at the 300. So he's going to have a chance.
Different sort of tempo, though, Richo, like Geelong Maiden coming up to Hong Kong, where they won't be hanging about.
And he draws one.
And that is such an important point, and we'll ask Karis in a moment about it. But Shane, gate 1, I reckon, for these horses that aren't experienced, you always love them to be on the rail. And the fact that this, lightly raced horse has the luxury of barrier 1, I think is a massive, massive plus.
Oh, you're 100%. It's a huge advantage. If he doesn't lead because a Mega Bonus coming across, he just sits third fence or somewhere there, unless he misses the start. But he hasn't had a tendency to miss the start yet, so he probably shouldn't.
What have you made of the trials of the new horse, Romantic Sun?
Well, he looks good. I thought his last trial was really good. He looks like he finished off very nicely. I think he's going to be very interesting tomorrow.
Had your hand up for the ride, but...
Well, as soon as he gets a lightweight on his back, I'm going to put my hands on
Yeah. Well, Zach's riding so light at the moment, a little annoyingly light, isn't he?
I know, I need to take him out for dinner.
Hey, Shane?
Just a quick thing. It's the C track, and the C and the C+3 at Happy Valley are so big advantage with inside gates, and that's what we're talking about. I think inside 4, it's amazing. Like, they win most of the races. Like, gate 1 has nearly a 44, I think it could be about a 44 percentage place ratio per run over 1,200 metres. So they're nearly always going to place. Yeah. It's just a fact if you have a look. And you can go to the Hong Kong Jockey Club. They have it on there, all the stats. But inside 4 from the 1,200 metres, it's huge. It's not big. It's a huge advantage.
Yeah, for the money ball players there, just play the stats, disregard the form, play the stats. What about the next race, race number 9? Yeah,
another good race. Last 3 races on the card are all decent races. This is a tough race. I didn't have much between a number of them. This is my early rated price without having some look at an early market. But Red Elegance beat a lot of this field. I've got him marked a marginal favourite. Atomic Force, same form reference. Eternal Fortune, lightly raced, once again, same form reference. Youthful Spirit was well backed in that race. The Youthful Spirit's weakening here, but Zach didn't jump that well, and he pressed him early and then he got tired. He's won a trial since. Look, Red Elegance I thought was a good win, Shane. 3 wide, no cover the trip. I know it's not as bad with the one turn, but look, he still did it well, and Dougie's just kept him to the 1,000 metres, which is really his go.
Yeah, he's going to be hard to beat. Naturally, he's up in weight. He's got a bit better barrier this time. He's going to be midfield to forward. I've actually got healthy on top. I think with no weight on his back, gate 4, he can race a little bit closer. He's been getting back. He was in that race. I think he ran 4th, but he's actually had a race since then, and his run was really good. I've got him on top from Red Elegance and then Atomic Force. I think it's a pretty tricky race, this, actually. It's an open race.
Yeah, I mean, there was only a length or 2 between a lot of the principals there. So what happens here, it depends how they step, where they land in each relative position. But this is new blood on the scene, and this is a horse by the name of Horsepower, of course, who raced in Australia and had some pretty good form. I like the trial. I thought he went well. He was a progressive horse in his own right. They've taken the time, Shane, to take him to the Valley. And I think
Yep.
you've got to respect him. He seemed to get round there pretty well. I've got him marked $10, but I'll easily bring him in if there's market support around for him. And with Frankie Law's stable, they're usually pretty accurate. If there's money around, they're going to run well.
Well, he's definitely not the worst. He had 2 trials last season and went really well, and he's had 2 trials this season and went well. In Australia, I think he raced in Melbourne in the bush over 1,000, 1,100, and he won. He goes well. He'll be forward, but I think he's got gate 7, and there's a few in there which have as much pace. So whether he can cross them or not is debatable. But he's done nothing wrong so far. But it's always hard for these horses to win Class 3,000 metres first start. It's never easy.
He sat back in his most recent win and rounded them up. Zach generally will, make the most of a reasonable barrier, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was happy to just launch late at them here.
Karis, tell us about Bunter. What is it? Bunter Baby.
Yeah.
It's the first time. I think the race gonna be a bit hard for him.
Yeah.
Like Shane just said, 1,000 metre Happy Valley. It's a totally different
And
ball
then
game
a wide
there.
barrier. Good luck.
So it's not gonna be that easy. But he's definitely a horse for the future.
And does he give you a feel that he might get over a little bit of more distance? Because when I looked at his form, he's a sprinting form, but when you look at him, he thinks, maybe he wants a bit further.
Yeah, I think also I tried him last time and he's still a bit keen in his trial.
Right.
So I think he'll need to learn how to settle down. So the 1,000 metre will be perfect. They can run him off his feet, and I'm hoping he runs on, and maybe later on he can go to a 1,200.
We get to race number 10. Hutch, who do you like?
Like this race, and I like a horse that brings some good form in Gorgeous Wind behind the likes of Wonderbar and Bottom Up together. I've got him marked favourite. Tomodachi Kokoro went exceptionally well in a recent trial. Loves the Valley, outside barrier. He'll run a big race. There's been excuses for co-partner Prance, which I'll touch on in a moment. But this is the form I like. Shane, I think Gorgeous Wind was fantastic here. They ran good time. He settled back. He actually was the one out of the field that burst out of the pack and bridged the gap. Now, not really sure about Happy Valley with him, but I tell you what, he's got a lot of class, this horse.
It was probably the best run in the race, I thought. He went enormous, and of course he won the start before at really good odds. I think we're on him that day. I was on him anyway. He's got a very good chance. I've got him on top from co-partner Prance. Now, if you have a look tomorrow, Zach's been getting really unlucky lately with bad draws. But tomorrow, he's got great draws most of the day. Another one that's got gate 1. As you said, he's had excuses, and, here he is here.
Yeah, I think that how I look at this horse is he'd had one trial leading to his first up run, and he ran third. That was prior to this. Then Francis decided to run him over 1,400. I just don't think he got it. I think it was too far for him. In fact, this might be the first up run where he did finish third. So now he gets gate 1. He's had a couple of runs. He's fitter. He goes to Valley, which we know he likes a lot. Now, Raging Blizzard, he had a recent trial. He's a progressive horse. He hasn't competed in a while, but sort of back-to-back wins with him. I think gate 10, it's a tricky barrier. First up after that long break, he'll probably need it, but he's a nice horse going forward. But I think with race fitness on his side and a touch of luck from the barrier, Gorgeous Wind should be hard to beat.
And Karis has drawn a wide barrier yet again.
Yeah.
Not pleasant for you.
I know it's going to be hard work, but he's a tough horse.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll get himself in the right position from that draw. Actually, sometimes it can work out good for him because he's a big striding horse and he takes his time to get going. So from that draw, I can sort of roll into a position. But he's trialled really well. His last trial was super good, and I think he's going to be competitive.
Really interesting newcomer as well, called Six Pack in Hong Kong, and it was at Hey Fat Cat with Robbie Lang.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talented horse. Now, his trial was good. I just feel first up, this distance range, it might be sharp enough for him, but he'll be a horse to watch quite closely. He looked progressive enough, didn't he? He wasn't too far off some of the better ones.
No, this would be a good
around.
little kick-off point too at 1,200. You'd imagine him 14 and a mile. He'd just start to really come into his own.
So he might be one to have a look at.
The improver in the race is definitely Lucky Encounter from gate 5. He had a wide run the other day and got back, and he was first up. His form last year was very, very consistent. He's definitely going to improve this week. He's got gate 5. He's going to race a bit closer. He's going to get in. He's not the worst.
Yeah, it's worth considering there. So our best bets at the end of the show. We're going to take a very quick break and then we'll start to drill into the brain of Karis Teetan, our very special guest. just had a look at your rides later on in the day. Let's have a look at your complete set at Happy Valley. Take us through some of the key chances earlier on in the day.
I think Sharp and Bright ran a really good race last time with the heavyweight. I think he was going to run nowhere, and then suddenly he sort of just kept on getting stronger towards the last 100 meter. I think he will go back to Happy Valley. He's jumping better now, so he's getting himself into a better position what he used to. He used to race back and he could not keep up with them, where he's not doing everything right. So I think with the lightweight, he's going to get himself rolling. He's going to get into a beautiful position, and he handled it pretty good.
Yeah. What are other rides?
I think Arthur Kingdom has turned the corner. Of course, he's dropped all the way down to the rating. And
he ended last season, Karis, in incredible form, and you were positive on him first up. He carried weight, and he led, and he won very well.
Yeah, he feels like a different horse.
Right.
Because I've ride him a couple of times. I've ride him last season where he was not in form, but he feels different. He feels like he wants to do it. He's also jumping better, putting himself up there and willing to do it, and with a good gate.
Yeah, barrier one.
That could work out pretty good.
Horse that I've marked you favourite on earlier in the card is actually Gallant Crown. It's an open race, but he looks like he's a horse that can sort of put himself in a position. He'll have a bit of favours, and he ran quite well actually. You sat outside Zach the other day when you were, I think, placed third behind the horse he went on, Aero Visible. Sorry.
I mean, also he's dropped into a rating now where you think he'll win, because he used to run in the higher class 3 races at Happy Valley, so he handled the trap pretty good. And David Stable, you can't say anything wrong. He's flying, so he's bringing the horses pretty well to the races, and he should have his chance.
Karis, how did you enjoy the Caulfield Cup?
Oh, I really enjoyed it. Atmosphere was different. Of course, I would have liked the horse to run better, but just did not perform to her best.
Mate, congratulations on getting a ride in the Cox Plate. I mean, you're set for an atmosphere like no other. The amphitheatre of Moonee Valley, huge crowd. It'll be loud.
Yeah.
You must be looking forward to it.
Yeah, I was there this morning.
Yeah.
Actually, I went to walk the track with Glenn Boss, and he gave me a few good tips. So I was freezing cold, but it was good to walk around the track. It's very small. I think Happy Valley was small.
Yeah.
But that was, pretty small.
Yeah. I drove him back actually after it. Richo, you would have loved this one. I said, Glenn, how many did you win? Without batting an eyelid. Four. And was just doing, texting on his phone or something.
Four. Just the four. Just the four. Thank you very much. Well, we've got another person who's won one as well.
Yeah.
In fact, Shane, this is an interesting little link. You won a Cox Plate on a horse called Octagonal, who had run third in a Caulfield Guineas. You're riding Evaporate, who ran third in a Caulfield Guineas. I mean, we're not comparing Evaporate. Please don't think that with Octagonal. But Shane, winning a Caulfield Guineas isn't necessarily what you have to do to win a Cox Plate.
No, there's been many. I remember riding Canny Lad, and of course I won the Golden Slipper on him, but he only ran midfield in the Caulfield Guineas. We run him in the Cox Plate. He looked the winner on the turn and just got beat by Better Loosen Up and Sedestin.
Yeah.
I think it was that year, Encounter, he won the Caulfield Guineas. He come out, didn't get beat far. Slight Chance got beat in the greatest. She was a 3-year-old filly. The greatest Cox Plate ever in 1992. What was it? A head-to-head.
Yeah, superimposed down the outside.
3-year-olds they may not win it often, but they have a very good record in the race. Yeah. Very good record.
I think about also So You Think ran 5th in a Caulfield Guineas and came out and won a Cox Plate. You're riding Evaporate. As we look at the Caulfield Guineas, you've been pushing up, Hutch, for everyone and all the media outlets saying, listen, why is broadsiding a quarter of the price?
I can't understand it. I mean, look, broadsiding is obviously a rich talent. There's no question, and he could easily bounce back going to the Valley. But he had, I thought Evaporate had, if anything, a harder run here in the Guineas and ran equally as good, if not better. And I wasn't completely sold on broadsiding with the hype and the price leading into the Guineas, but the thing with Evaporate, he's been there 3 times. So, you tick a box of a horse that's been to the Valley in 3 from 3. So if 3-year-olds have a good record and he beat home broadsiding, his place price, I think, is almost equivalent to what broadsiding is a win, which just seems insane to me.
Yeah. What are your tactics? What are you going to do? Give us some insight.
Well, I haven't spoken to the trainers yet, so I will speak to a trainer. I think looking at the race, he looks like a horse that wants to just use his action. He looks like a big, strong horse, and I've got 49.5 kilo on my back. So, of course, Pride of Jenny will put the speed on, and I think there's one other horse that might be a bit handy. So I think I'm just from that gate, just jump him out. Like Glenn said to me this morning, make sure if you make a decision to be there, commit to your spot, get your spot, and then let your horse relax to that downhill. So the most important thing is to get my horse into a beautiful rhythm the first turn, then down the hill, let him just sort of roll along, and then hoping with that weight on, when the pressure start to come, I can pick him up and let him know, then he will be able to extend. Yeah.
It's going to be thrilling with Pride of Jenny in the race. She's so important because what Pride of Jenny does is test the brains and courage of all the jockeys as to when do we go, how do we chase her, how far can we let her get in front.
Well, they can't do what they did in the QE2 last year.
Correct.
I mean, they just gave her far too much rein.
Because no one was brave enough to have a go.
And even in the Fian at the Valley this year, they let Mr. B just let her get a little bit too far out of her gun. Shane, I don't think that's going to happen this time. What's your take?
I called it last week. I knew she wouldn't get away. She gets away when Craig's on Mr. Brightside. He's got it in his head that he can't chase her. And that's why she gets away. You've got to chase her. Royal Patronage is definitely going to chase her. She might get 5-6 lengths in front, but she's not going to get that 20 or 30 lengths in front because people know you're not going to run her down. And, you're just not.
And the way I look at it, Shane, and I'm interested in your insight here, Pride of Jenny will ensure that it's a genuine tempo, that they will go awfully close to around that track record sort of area. If they make it a really genuine run race, surely that suits Prognosis, the Japanese horse.
Oh, 100%. He's the best horse in the race as far as I'm concerned. I know he's run 3 placings or 2 seconds and a 5th to Romantic Warrior, but you can make a case for every run. He should have beat Romantic Warrior even though he didn't. I think this race sets up ideally for him. He's going to get back. He misses the start, and he's just going to circle them at the 850. Now, Karis, I'm sure Glenn, when you're walking the track, would have said, when you get to the 850, when you that tight turn and they call it the school, every horse goes. It happens every year. Yeah. There's no sitting, waiting, and you've got to go. You've just got to go. The pressure's on. You pull out once you turn. You would have seen it's 800 metres and you just take off here.
This is how you do it.
I don't care if I'm 10 wide. I never used to. Maybe that's why I only won Cox Plate. But every year they go.
Cerise Colours, second from the outside, Shane. Keep talking about this mighty win.
Well, the track was off this day and you had to be wide, so it was the best part of the track for me anyway. But with no weight on your back, Karis, you can actually get going sooner than later because you're making those horses with the weight work. And it's always telling to them if you can make it work. What a great race this was, Richo. What horses in this? You had Danewin, you had Mahogany. This was a good field. Probably one of the best, well, probably the greatest 3-year-old, what he did in that year as a 3-year-old to race. Like he won derbies, he won everything, Tancred Stakes, everything, Octagonal, Cox Plate.
It's an interesting dynamic, though, and it's been well versed in all the media outlets. I mean, this year, I think I wouldn't be surprised if she goes even a bit quicker early, because the advantage that she'll get over the field is by going quicker early and then maybe just putting a seed of doubt in those riders that are chasing one, or she's gone soon now. And it's more so when do they bridge the gap, when do they start to make the move. It's going to be a great race. It's fantastic, Karis, you're going to be part of it. History will be made, no doubt, and I can't wait for it.
And the beauty also, Karis, is the build-up. The crowd just lifts with that build-up and they replay old races on the megaphone. Everyone's listening to these great old editions of this epic race, and then you come through the tunnel, the roar of the crowd. Mate, you're going to have a lot of fun, regardless, any which way you look at it.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. As I walk in at the immigration today, of course the officer asked me, what are you here for? I'm like, I'm riding in the
Cox Plate.
Cox Plate. And she's like, Cox Plate? Whoa, okay, good luck for that. I was like, wow, you're into it too.
So now we're
Karis, I've got to tell you, there's actually, it's an incredible feeling, all right, the Cox Plate. It's a special race. It's unique. They should never change it from Moonee Valley. It wouldn't work at Flemington. It wouldn't work at Randwick. It's just unique. Something always happens every year in it. And the build-up, as Richo said, and when you walk through that tunnel, you'll hear the crowd before the race roar. It's special.
Thanks so much for coming in. Enjoy an unbelievable 24 hours, mate. We're barracking for you, and then hopefully if someone's out there watching, he's light, and there's a lot of Melbourne Cup mounts available for lightweight. And that'd be a thrill to be involved in that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it will be like a dream come true, you know, to get it right, just to get it right in the Melbourne Cup. But yeah, I mean, I'm waiting. I hope the opportunity will pop up, and I'll be ready for it. Good
luck in the Cox Plate.
Thank you.
Karis Teetan, our very special guest. A quick break. We'll look at global racing next. Back to the Triple Trio. Let's reflect on the Whirlpool meeting of last week, and it was a beauty. Look at these figures. So King Charles III Stakes Day / Everest Day, 34.5 million in turnover, 8.9 million just on the Caulfield Cup, if you don't mind, and then rolling into Champions Day at Ascot. So $82.2 million of turnover.
Record as well, I think.
Continues to be an unbelievable success.
Yeah, it is a huge success. And this was an amazing win from Bella Nipotina, I think.
God, she's good.
Yeah, so tough. Shane, what did you make of the Everest?
Oh, what a great race. The atmosphere, the hype before singing Sweet Caroline, it just brings tears to your eyes. It's what racing's about. The crowd was amazing. The race was good. Craig showed real initiative. He tried to lose the race to win the race, and that's what I keep talking about. And it was just a big win, a great ride. Went forward instead of going back.
And Cheerwolf in the yellow colours with the yellow and navy striped hat, just about to accelerate under Chad Schofield.
Former Hong Kong-based rider. Good to see Chad with a big race. And I tell you what, Joe Pride, of course, who was the main man underneath, or foreman, but under John Size back in the day. He's a fantastic trainer, and they've got that next generation of Sue Star coming through.
Yeah, and then they had a blowout at the Champions meeting at Ascot. Have a look at the horse in Shaker Hiss's colours there. Nowhere to go. You think that Jimmy Crowley's never going to get out. It's like a 40-1 chance. It was a Group 1 winner last season, and then had won a Group 3 leading in, had disappointed the favourites last start. He got the split and burst through. His name is Anne Martin. That's really important to continue for Shaker Hissa, who's taken on her father's business, the late Sheikh Hamdan. Really important for her to keep getting winners so she stays in love with the sport and keeps investing in the sport.
Jim Crowley, did you say?
We love our man, Jimmy Crowley.
He better got some votes. One of Jim's got some votes. Jimmy Idol.
We love Jimmy, don't we?
It would have been a good thing beat if it had got beat, wouldn't it?
Oh,
at the 200, I was watching and I said, this thing gets out, this is just going to win, and of course it did.
Yeah, Jimmy got out. He'd love to come over to Hong Kong and do some riding.
He's ridden down here as well.
Yeah, God, love him.
150 to go. Sunline's a length in front. In Prawn Bliss, they come to the line. Sunline, the mare of the world, wins it.
Hey, let's turn our attention to the international meeting, because all roads lead to Sha Tin on that Super Sunday in December. Entries are in now for all the 4 big features. Can we start with the Vase?
Yep. Look, we often get big names, Richo, but I get a feeling, particularly from an Australian point of view, this year, we will get some representation, which we've been crying out for. A lot of them that have entered from Australia with the Vase are obviously European bred, but that's a good thing. We know they'll stay.
Yeah, I mean, Duke de Sessa's one that I believe that they're considering, and Buckaroo might be going to a Melbourne Cup. So would he continue on? The other one is last year's Caulfield and Melbourne Cup champion Without a Fight, whether or not he's ready to head towards a Vase.
Look, they're talking about running in the the race on a month out, basically, Champions Day, the last day of the Cup Carnival.
So the 2,000 metre race?
2,000 metre race there, and then in Without a Fight would be a great entry, and it's at the right time in preparation, because coming back from Tendon, run there, Hong Kong, right on the agenda, and he's a class horse.
That's the Vase, of course. Then we've got the Hong Kong Sprint with the superstars that are Ka Ying Rising, if you don't mind. So I Am Me and Lady Laguna, a couple of mares, recommendations fast. Ostraka's really promising. He could be a surprise.
Yeah, well, this horse is absolutely flying, and well done to Matty Ennis, who is a founder of Group 1 Goldmine, the supporters of the show. This horse, I think there have a few offers from Hong Kong as well, I'm hearing, but they're pretty keen to race on, and in this form, this was a great ride from Blake. Apparently there were some instructions earlier today, they might be ridden more patiently. Well, he went straight forward and won the race. But
from a wide gate.
Ostraka was flying and races rate pretty well. Interesting one.
Yeah, and then the Hong Kong Mile, we've got the usual protagonists there. Beauty Eternal, Galaxy Patch, Helios Express, we'll talk about him in a moment. Also worth noting, Japan, Namur and Seraphos, who were there last year. They're going to be, I think Antino will go there. Late entry for Celestial Legend, so you think he would be going?
If Antino can turn up in any sort of the form that saw him win, I mean, this was lauded as a great ride, which it was. I'm not detracting from the ride, so don't take this the wrong way. But the performance from the horse, you still need the horse to do it.
Wow.
This was quite remarkable. There was speed early, they backed off. Blake ended up sort of, ready to creep forward, took off. But to sustain this run, Shane, that was an exceptional win, no matter which way you cut it.
But he had been getting beat his previous couple of starts by Mr. Brightside and, of course, Pride of Jenny.
But he was good in that race in the Fen. I mean, he was probably...
Yes,
he was better than Brightside, actually. He was getting home well, and I think they just allowed her too much rain, and he came out of that race. So he'll be competitive.
He on this run he will be, if he can maintain that. But I still want to be on Galaxy Patch, don't you?
Yes, I do, but... I just like them to... Well, we saw a horse, was it Law of Indices that went over?
Yeah,
and,
Laws of Indices,
that was a lot better run than anything Laws of Indices had done down here,
Definitely.
I feel. So, I wouldn't be dismissing Antino too, and he's got some very good peaks.
It might be a good roughie tomorrow, Laws of Indices here in Melbourne. The Hong Kong Cup, of course, is the number one race. Romantic Warrior ready to defend the crown will be up against maybe Buckaroo. Mr. Brightside, no, you would think maybe comes for April. Via Sistina's a really interesting runner there. And you also add in Docklands or Gus Rodin Prognosis as well, as we look at Via Sistina, who are running a Cox Plate. And the other one I want you to consider, I'm hearing that Goliath will be going there after maybe a Japan Cup. He was the winner of the King George and Queen Elizabeth at Ascot. He defeated Blue Stocking by 2 1/4 lengths, and Blue Stocking then won the Arc. If Goliath comes, that'd be huge, Goliath versus Romantic.
Well, and also if Via Sistina can win a Cox Plate on the weekend. And hello, Hong Kong. I mean, it's great, particularly in the Yulong interests as well. So I would think there'll be some support from a Hong Kong perspective and some aim to want to take her there, which would be brilliant.
Shane, apparently in all the marketing paraphernalia and propaganda that's been put out by the Hong Kong Jockey Club to all the international horses, one of the big carrots is you get to hang out with Shane Dye for the day.
Oh, please, leave me alone.
Mango and lobster, is it? Is it mango and lobster?
Worse, Richo.
Look at his face. Leave me alone. Hey, in all seriousness though, Shane, that Sunday looks incredible. If even a few of those big horses come there.
It's only got to be half as good as last year, and it's going to be sensational, because I think last year was the best day's racing I've ever had or seen in my life that day.
Yeah, it was a great day for Hong Kong, and it probably will be again this year in many respects, but I love to see these internationals come and really, test the metal. Yeah,
it's going to be fantastic. Absolutely superb. But we're going to take a quick break. But as we go to a break, Nicole Purton with her Inside Running about the naming of all these quality horses called Beauty.
Patrick Kwok is one of the Hong Kong Jockey Club's next generation of owners. His family have two passions in life, beauty and horse racing. And they've been instrumental in growing the Sa Sa Ladies Purse Day to become the most glamorous race day on the Sha Tin calendar through both those things. Patrick, Sa Sa is such a well-known, iconic Hong Kong brand. How did it all start?
It started around 1978. My mom was always sales. One of her clients opened this cosmetic shops. Then they kind of didn't want to do it anymore and asked, does my mom want to buy it? And that's where it started. And it's a small shop around 100 square feet in a mall called President Mall in Causeway Bay.
And how many stores do you have now?
Around 80.
So the Kwok name is very famous in Hong Kong horse racing. How did you guys first get involved?
My dad always loved horse racing, I think since even 18. Then obviously after I think around 40 or 50 he had his first horse. Then he got Beauty Flash as his first Group 1 type horse.
Beauty Flash eyeing off 3 Group 1 victories in a row, and Beauty Flash wins again.
I'm lucky that my mum and myself had a horse called Beauty, actually sat one on it in the Group 1. That's my first horse, and obviously it's easy to like horse racing if you're in the big races.
If you're winning, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And as you've mentioned, you've had lots of horses. You've had Beauty Generation, Beauty Eternal, Beauty Only, just to name a few of the big guns. What's been your favourite racing memory?
I think certainly Beauty Generation. His second last win is the Queen Silver Jubilee Cup, which Zach is on it. He hasn't won in maybe 5 or 6 races. Everyone thought he's gone. I think he showed even how beat up you are, how old you are. If you don't give up, you'll be there.
Beauty Generation in front, the champ's lifting strongly, and he's going to get his 3rd victory in the Queen Silver Jubilee Cup, his 3rd crown, and 8 Group 1s now for the champ, Beauty Generation. Beauty Generation, what a win, great to see the old marble back. He's won it in fine style.
So one of my favourite days on the Hong Kong racing calendar is Sasa Ladies Purse Day. How did that come about?
I think Sasa Purse Day's been there, I don't know, minimum 12, 13 years. Around that time is a big day for the family. They like to dress up, like to buy hats, and they do plan a while before.
What do you think makes it such a special day?
I think the vibe that the Purse Day gives is not just racing, it's about dressing nice, being elegant, have some fun. I think I certainly like that part of racing, even not just the people in the Sasa box. It's a very unique day.
What is the one race that you and your family would love to win?
Yeah, I think you and Zach know us long enough that we wish to win a derby. Our luck was not there yet, but I'm still very happy with the gods of racing. I think we've been still pretty lucky, so couldn't wish much more. Just hopefully my dad will see a derby win.
Beauty Generation kept finding. It's another faultless display from Hong Kong's champion. The power of this incredible athlete. And Beauty Generation, it's 8 consecutive and 7 for the season. What a remarkable season it's been. Another incredible racing story. A 2nd Champions Mile and a coveted crowning glory. Beauty Generation 5 in front. He is invincible, Beauty Generation. What a champion he's going to be. What a champion he already is.
Let's find some future winners with our form files, and I can imagine Ka Ying Rising is at the front of our mind for everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's been well versed. What a performance it was. Nearly broke the track record, and
God, he's good, this horse.
He's exceptionally good, Shane. This what's great about it is he has gate speed, he can settle on pace, and he can quicken on pace off that as well. So love the ride from Zach. He found a spot. The rest is history.
Well, he's different to Lucky Schweines because he never had gate speed, and that's what makes this horse so much better than him. He could find trouble, Lucky Schweines, because of no gate speed. This horse can't find trouble. He's going to get out of it every time, and Zach's so positive on him, and he trusts him to come back under him when he puts him there. He's the winner of the International Sprint, Clint.
Yeah, it's scary what he can do on the clock. I mean, he was 7/100ths off the track record, and he was basically eased down late in the race. So it was an exceptional performance, and I think there's a good case to be made, as we said, I think earlier in the Hong Kong season, that after his Hong Kong HKIR win, that he's clearly the best sprinter there, and one of the better ones in the world, and that was only backed up by what he did here.
We just highlighted Helios Express. By gee, he ran well.
This was an exceptional run from him as well. This is just going back over the ratings. They're not weight adjusted, so you can see that 95 or thereabouts with Ka Ying Rising the other day, and he carried 135 and ran to a similar mark. So they're very close, those two marks. Either one of those performances, as Shane says, wins the international sprint in recent years. So that's good. Capital Delight also posted a good figure from during the week. So that's from a ratings point of view, our weekly wrap-up of the big performances. But yeah, Ka Ying Rising runs to that mark, he wins the sprint.
Yeah, Hellas Express is our sectional star. He ran 11.13 and he was fantastic. Ka Ying Rising, I mean, Shane's already just mentioned him in the same breath as Lucky Swain S, who, of course, went there and did it and won multiple Group 1s. We've just got to temper. He looks like he's going to go and do all that, but we've just got to watch him and admire him do it first.
Yeah, he does have to step up again, but all the indications are that he's there, he's like the race, he's running time. And, you know, I was talking to Karis on our way here today, and he said, you know, the amazing thing about him, Shane, was that last year behind the gates he'd get all stirred up and that, and this year he's much more relaxed. So maturity levels mentally more than anything else have really come on.
Well, he would have seen him at the races and everything, so he would know, but he's going higher. He's going to win the international sprint. There's nothing in Australia that can beat them. The European horses aren't good enough, and who knows what's going to come from Australia.
Yeah, and he is a 4-year-old though, and it's interesting, you know, the carrot, would he be extended out to a mile? Do they go down that road at all of this 4-year-old series?
Well, David Hayes said to the Hong Kong Jockey, well, to the press basically, post-race that, you know, David did mention that he's bred to get a trip. Well, thanks to our friends at Group 1 Goldmine who do all the analytics, and this is fantastic analysis in terms of their impact, a mile will not be a problem for him based on all the data that is available, you know, on the pedigree. So that's really interesting. My concern more so, Shane, is that when you've got a horse that's a sprinter and is as good as he is, I know you can win the mile and you'll win them on class, but I just fear that, you know, on going on that path, you sort of, you know, then you're trying to bring him back. I don't know. I just, if he's that good a sprinter, just stick to sprinting.
I think it comes down to the Everest and whether they want to win the Everest. He's firmed up to favourite, I think, now in the Everest. And if they want to go to win the Everest, I don't think he can go to a mile. It's going to be too hard to get him back.
Who jumped into your sweet in defeat file?
Not that many from this week. I certainly wasn't very sweet in defeat, I can tell you, because there was plenty of them.
I must admit, I got a bit nasty too.
No, I was kicking the couch and all sorts. Look, I think from Shard 10, Legend St Paul's and Blazing Wind's ready to win one, Shane. I think I didn't get anything from Wednesday. I don't know. I'm not sure about this. But this debut performance from Legend St Paul's, who trialled okay. Look, the race went reasonably well in terms of how it rated, but I thought this was a good debut from Legend St Paul's.
Yeah, it trialled well his previous start before that, and it was a good debut. I just put a line through Wednesday, Clint. I couldn't work Wednesday night out, so I don't want to be tipping anything from Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same way.
It was like a bonfire.
Well, the track on the dirt this season, certainly the inside section hasn't played that well, so something to consider.
So there are a couple to put into the sweet in defeat file. Shane, your time to shine. This is where all the Hong Kong jockeys stand up and take notice. So idle time for you, Shane, but I believe you're going to give us something a little different.
Yes. Now, Talent's Ambition on Wednesday night. Did you think he was disappointing?
Yeah, I think a little bit, Shane. I mean, certainly as far as the market was concerned, he was pretty hot in the market.
Well, he was $1.60 chance and he was $1.40 just before the jump, so he should have been winning. Now, I'm going to explain to you and give you a bit of insight why he wasn't disappointing. Now, if we go to last year and at the end of the season when he won over 1650, you watch him out of the gates here.
It says the 23rd of June.
23rd of June. You watch him go back. He's under a hold. He's going back, right? Yep. And he travels well into the race. And you watch him. We can miss. He just sits back last, and then he circles them and he wins. And you'll see. We can forward it to the top of the straight, and you'll see him back, and he just circles them, and you can see him hit the line because he's got all the energy in the world. And how impressive was he this night?
Huge.
Like, he was really impressive, right? Now, his first up run over 1,200 metres was very, very good. Like, he just looked the winner on Wednesday night. Now I'm going to put up times, and I want you to have a look at times comparing that race to Wednesday night. Okay, so he's run in that race in June for the first bit, 400 metres, a 30.59. This time he's run a 28.53. Then he's run a 22.86 on Wednesday night compared to a 23.12. So for the first part of the race, he's gone probably 15 lengths, Clint, faster?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm watching the race Wednesday night, and I'm going, if he digs this out of the gates and goes forward, it will not win, right? Just go back. I'm saying, now you watch. Misses the start a bit. Now you watch, push, instead of getting him back travelling. Now, once I saw the 27 up on the sign, now watch Zach on his horse. He gave his a sensational ride, which is the grey horse following him. He's riding so well, Zach. He's more patient this season. He followed him the whole way. Now, if you look up on the screen, it'll come up 27-something very shortly. I'll go, right, any horse like him who's closer than he should be can't win. It's the back markers, and they all come from back. First, second, third are behind him. There's Zach following him. Now, to the normal eye, you think this horse is just going to win. He's travelling okay. He's midfield. He gave him a beautiful ride. I'm not disagreeing with that. But it's not the right type of ride for this horse. Zach's followed him the whole way. And now the race eventuates. He can't finish. He's got no energy. It's impossible for him to finish. And I knew he was off here. He would.
So the only thing to, somewhat temper that, Shane, obviously 2 different days. I know we're comparing, those are all raw times as well. So, I mean, this track did play slower. That probably enhances what you're saying in terms of, even though they've gone quicker here on the weekend, I think the track actually played slower. So it was probably amplified. It was probably even more so than that. But, you feel like he's got a... I personally thought he didn't have him in a bad spot, but it was more so that first 100 where he just gave him a few niggles.
Well, it's so hard for jockeys. I was very lucky because I didn't care about stewards or getting beat. I'd never once cared about that, right? But not many jockeys are like that, right? Now, a horse like that, and it's not Harry's fault. I understand he's $1.40 or $1.50. You're got gate 3. I'll ride him a bit closer today. But I keep saying it time and time again. Those horses just do not finish, right? They do not. They're better off ridden back. It depends on the animal.
Yeah.
Yui's the best at it in Hong Kong. Like, you saw him on Geneva a month ago, $1.40. He was 10 lengths off them. Ryan Moore's outstanding also, right? The shorter they are, the more quieter they ride them because they know they're going to be explosive at the end of the race. But it all depends on the animal. But it's so hard for a jockey. It's so hard when they're $1.40, they're unbeatable, to have them that bit closer. Zach's ride was amazing in the race. Followed him the whole way, got the run through and won. And he's riding on another level this season. Yeah,
it's an interesting, just to close out on the argument anyway, or the discussion, I should say. Perfect Team, he led up in that race. He didn't have all the favours, and they clashed actually in that other race. So a slightly different viewpoint is he still was a bit disappointing because he absolutely belted him when they met, albeit at a different part of the weights. And I don't think Perfect Team had the best part of the track either, being on the fence for the majority of the run. So irrespective of all that, I'll still say he's a bit disappointing, but I appreciate what Shane's saying. It's his view, and I think it's just an interesting.
Right. I mean, because on face value, you look at it and you think, gee, Harry gave that every possible chance. But then, when you factor in what Shane's saying about knowing the animal and how he likes to sit back, gather himself,
I look at things differently, and I always have, and maybe that's why I could find winners a long way out when I was riding and get on them, because I saw things differently to other people, whether it's right or wrong. Now, did he win giving him a perfect ride, win midfield? Well, the answer is no.
No.
Would he have won going back and riding more quieter? I don't know. But I know riding him like that, he didn't win.
And what did you do from a votes point of view?
I thought the best ride of the week was in Australia, Andrea. Anyone should go and watch this ride on Sadozi. It is not a 10 out of 10. It's a 20 out of 10. It was sensational. It was the best ride I've seen in a big race. He's never ridden there. He's never been there. He just gave it every chance. Zach's riding so good from tricky barriers. He gets 3. Brendan on Majestic Express, bad gate, went back, cut the corner, got a run through. Matthew on Wind Speed. Now, this horse normally gets back. I think he had gate 12. He ended up third the fence, and he won. It was a great ride. Vincent rode 3 winners over the 2 days, and, of course, all the other boys there, they all rode well. So he was riding pretty well.
Zach is leading at the moment by 3.5 votes, trying to defend his title. In fact, trying to do what no man's ever done before.
No man has ever done that back-to-back. I mean, I don't know if he'd be able to contain himself if he did that. It'd be,
A very quick break. We'll come back and find your best bets. Before we have a look at our best bets, social-wise, this has come across our desk, and it's great news for Hong Kong punters. 2 superstars arrived.
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? It's a new name in Alexis Pouchin, but J Mac back with a vengeance. He's going to be there for the obviously the lead-up meeting to internationals on the 17th of November, so he can partner some of those stars.
And then go all the way through basically until Magic Millions when he comes back to Queensland. And talking about J-Mac and Romantic Warrior, End of Romance is the half-brother had a win.
Yeah, I saw this. This is the great thing about social media. There's plenty of not so good things about social media, but this type of information that comes across, which we normally wouldn't know about, probably till far later. But yeah, the little bro, he did a pretty good job. I think he's won 2 from 3 now, hasn't he? So that's encouraging. Doesn't look that much like his brother, though.
Well, yeah. Hopefully he's going to furnish. We might see him have some sort of a future. Some of these all-weather races in the UK actually end up being a better form reference than you first think. But anyway, we're going to follow him with great interest. Best bets time. Where do we start?
Yep, best bets. Well, we had Karis in the house, and I think one of his rides is the best bet. Arthur's Kingdom. Horse is flying. Not sure exactly why this horse has turned it around, but from towards the end of last season, he jumps, he can put himself forward. He goes up in grade, but I think he'll lead and win. But if he holds his recent form, he will be hard to beat. I think Gorgeous Win will be backable, and I want to take him in a Quinella with a couple. I think, obviously, co-partner Prance and number 3 are both in there with good chances. So they'll be my 2 bets, Shane.
I had a bit of a misfortune. My database didn't come on till 6 o'clock last night, so I'm behind the 8 ball. And I haven't finished. I haven't done it all, so I've got to throw out a shorty, unfortunately. Noble Pursuit. He'll be winning. I just looked at that race quickly. He'll be no odds, though, so sorry. I've got no value.
I've got him marked pretty sure. But what about Shane's performance this year? I mean, I think he's had 5 from his last 7.
It's embarrassing.
And he's slaying them.
Could you consider on HUTCHI'SHonkers.com having a little push red for RS?
Push RS.
Could you?
Yeah, well, yeah, we probably could, couldn't we?
Yeah, but subsection.
He probably might have to charge more.
Yeah, that's true. That's a worry. Golden Boy, enjoy Cox Plate weekend. It's something very special, as you know.
It is. It's a fantastic day. Good luck to everyone.
Yeah,
Bye.
It's going to be fantastic. And, of course, at Happy Valley on Sunday.
Yeah, no, can't wait for that. So make sure you tune in, subscribe if you haven't done already, and have a great weekend of racing.
I hope you enjoy the weekend and happy punting.